There's a whole ton of great space games out there, and it's very easy to miss many of them. With Steam's current spring sale then, I wanted to jump in and recommend a few really nice titles that stand out to me. Also, a few of these are the lesser known titles, but they're certainly worth taking a look at, and I'm sure many of you will no doubt enjoy them. House of the Dying Sun, a space shooter, and a very good one at that. At this point it's fairly old, but it's still one of the better ones out there. Set in a remote space empire, players embody a fighter pilot tasked with avenging the Emperor's assassination by eliminating traitors. The game features 14 missions, emphasising fast-paced dogfights and strategic fleet management. Now, the thing is here, it is a fairly short game at just 14 missions, but it's also very interesting in terms of combat because not only do you fly the ship you're in, but you can also switch between any of the other ships that are inside your fleet. In terms of gameplay, it's like a hyper blend between homeworld and free space. Players start with a single interceptor and gradually a massive fleet, using tactical pauses to issue orders or switch ship control for strategic advantage. Now, the gameplay is tailored for gamepad users, although it does support HOTAS controls and mouse and keyboard as well. For me, mouse and keyboard was certainly my preferred option. The game does unfortunately lack any form of multiplayer option, but the game does have some replayability thanks to the dynamic changing difficulty modes. Ultimately then, House of the Dying Sun has a great narrative that is both dark and minimalistic. It feels like something out of the great space operas of the past, and the music is absolutely amazing. Now we're going to move on to a few other games throughout this list, but there is a ton of great space games out there, and obviously I can't include them all in this video. It'll be hours and hours long. So do list your recommendations in the comments section below because I'd love to hear your suggestions. And talking of suggestions, here's a recommendation for mealtime from the sponsor of today's video, Factor 75. In today's fast-paced world, finding a meal service that aligns with both our health and goals and hectic schedules can be quite a challenge. And that's where Factor 75 steps in, an online service that is all about healthy eating. Factor 75 delivers healthy food, convenience and flexibility right to your doorstep. The website showcases a variety of meal options catering to different dietary preferences such as keto, vegan, and calorie smart. With over 27 meals to choose from weekly, Factor 75 ensures that you can enjoy a diverse and nutritious diet without the hassle of meal planning or prep. What's more compelling is Factor 75's current promotion. Get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life using my link. That means you can choose 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavours for every order while you are an active subscriber. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Ease of use and the promise of no prep and no mess make Factor 75 an attractive option for anyone looking to enhance their dietary habits. And moving on, NEBULOUS Fleet Command. This is a strategic tactical space simulation game that immerses players in the depths of realistic space combat. In the past, I've compared this somewhat to The Expanse TV show. And yes, I still hold to that, although some people feel, well, that's not really the case. Either way, the game is set in a fully 3D environment where players design ships, manage a naval squadron, and engage in detailed strategic combat. The gameplay itself revolves around navigation, engaging enemy fleets, and you also have a diverse arsenal, including customizable missiles, energy weapons, and artillery. Managing ships and components and damage in real time are all things as well, so that's something that you tactical guys out there and gals are definitely going to like. Now, damage control and electronic warfare play crucial roles, as does the need to outmaneuver opponents. NEBULOUS offers both single-player modes and multiplayer skirmishes. This then is certainly one of the more complex space games out there. If you prefer more of the sandbox type approach to space simulation, however, Avorion is certainly a game to look at. Now right here you have a game that offers a blend of ship construction, exploration and combat within a procedurally generated galaxy. The game begins with the player in control of a basic drone, setting the stage for an expansive journey toward the centre of the galaxy. And this central quest is driven by a narrative focused on mysterious cosmic phenomena. And as to be expected with this type of game, valuable resources are a central focus, and these will increase in rarity and value as you approach the galactic core. Now, the cornerstone of Avorion is this detailed ship building system. Players have long had the freedom here to design and construct vessels from scratch, and if YouTube is anything to go by, there's a whole ton of different ships out there that many different people have constructed over the years. In short, it seems if you can imagine it, you can build it. It's a system that emphasizes creativity and strategic planning, requiring the inclusion of essential elements such as engines and weaponry to ensure survival and efficiency in the game's massive universe. Now, exploration really is a key aspect of Avorion, with players encouraged to travel through diverse sectors, mine resources, engage in trade, and combat hostile forces, all that sort of stuff that you'd expect to see in a great space simulator. Interestingly, Avorion offers both single-player and multiplayer modes, with the latter facilitating cooperative and competitive interactions, which means there's a choice for everyone. In short then, Avorion is all about player-driven interactions and impacts. Now, on the complete opposite end of the scale, we're going to look at a somewhat more simplistic space game, and this is Star Wars Squadrons. Now again, many of these games come out a while ago, but they are relatively little known games. That is, except perhaps for Star Wars Squadrons, but a lot to people that will certainly be aware of. The reason I wanted to mention this one though is it is a space game I did enjoy at the time, and currently it is less than £2, so you can't really go wrong for that price. It's a space combat game that plunges people or players directly into the iconic Star Wars universe, offering both single-player campaigns and multiplayer modes. Now, the campaign itself is really interesting because it weaves together the story of two rival squadrons, one from the New Republic and the other from the Empire, and you actually get to play on both sides. You kind of alternate between the narrative point of view here. In terms of multiplayer, players engage in 5v5 dogfights or strategic battle fleets. Now, at this point, I'm not sure how busy those servers are going to be, so it might be a little bit difficult to actually find some games. But if you can, you've got 4 different classes of ships: fighter, bomber, interceptor, and support. And each of these have different loadouts, or customizable loadouts in fact. The gameplay focuses on mastering ship controls, power management, and tactical maneuvers to outmaneuver opponents. In short then, this is very much a space combat game, and it's certainly very much in the vein of Star Wars, so if you're a massive Star Wars fan, you're very likely going to enjoy this game. Moving on to something completely different, Citizen Sleeper. This then is a single-player RPG set on the space station Erling's Eye. Here, players assume the role of a sleeper, a synthetic being with a human consciousness designed to serve the mega corporation, but now seeking freedom and survival. Yeah, that's never going to happen, is it? No chance of that with the way AI is going. At any rate, the game uniquely blends cyberpunk themes with a transhumanist narrative, exploring life on the fringe of society through the lens of a replicant-like character. Now, the gameplay is driven by a daily cycle mechanic where players receive a pool of dice that represents their ability to perform tasks. The number and value of these dice are tied directly to the player's physical condition, which gradually worsens due to planned obsolescence. Now, players must strategically allocate their dice to navigate work, hacking, and social interactions, balancing the need for survival against the pursuit of longer-term goals and relationships with the station's inhabitants. So this is somewhat of an unusual game and pretty unique as well, and if you're looking for something different, this may be worth giving a try. Also, with themes of anti-capitalism, identity, and human connection, Citizen Sleeper offers a poignant commentary on societal structures and personal agency within them. The game's blend of interactive fiction and RPG elements, along with its atmospheric art style and music, creates an immersive experience that emphasizes the importance of people over systems. And yeah, that's starting to sound like something that may happen pretty soon with the way AI is going. Okay, Space Haven. This is a colony simulation game set in space. The game focuses on building and customizing a spaceship from the ground up, requiring players to piece together their vessel tile by tile and manage systems such as air support, lighting, and even toilets. Players control every aspect of the ship's interior and functionality, dealing with the granular simulation of crew needs and the ship maintenance. Key gameplay elements include managing scarce resources like fuel rods, exploring a derelict spacecraft, and engaging in real-time tactical combat. The game also features narrative elements through data logs, adding depth to the gameplay. Space Haven emphasizes survival in space, requiring players to loot, manufacture, and strategically use resources to keep their crew alive and their ship in operational condition. Overall then, there's nothing especially unique about Space Haven, but it seems to blend together these different activities, these different core gameplay loops in a very interesting way. Okay, saving the best for last. Spacebourne 2 is arguably, perhaps aside from Avorion, the most deepest and complex game on this list. Now, Spacebourne 2 is a single-player, open-universe RPG and a third-person shooter to boot. It plunges players into a vast galaxy teeming with exploration opportunities. Now, this is a solo development game. There's only one developer behind it, and that makes it all the more impressive, especially considering that this is exactly the type of space game many people have been asking for. A space game that allows you to roleplay, mine, trade, pirate, craft, as well as an element of deep space exploration. It's all set in a procedurally generated universe, and players can explore tens of thousands of solar systems, each of them with unique planets featuring diverse climates, structures, and secrets. And yes, you can land on planets and get outside your ship and walk around. Also, there's a load of EVA activities going on as well. Now, I have spoken about this game in the past, but recently, in March, in fact this month, it's gone through its massive V 4.0 update, and this introduces several new key enhancements that significantly expand the game's foundation, as if what was already there wasn't enough. Now, among the most notable additions are real-time castle sieges on planet surfaces, and these allow players to engage in RTS-style battles to capture and manage what amounts to 20 uniquely designed castles. I think there's more than 20 castles, but 20 different designs. Now, this update also overhauls the faction soldier system, dividing forces into space and ground units and introducing new soldier types like elite soldiers and mechs for ground combat, as well as expanding the army capacities to include up to 10 generals. Battles have also been reimagined into this real-time strategy format, and it promises a more dynamic and engaging encounter. Now, I haven't tried this out myself just yet, so what I'm talking about here is from the 4.0 patch notes. Doesn't mean I haven't tried out 4.0 yet. I've tried out Spacebourne 2 and I really do enjoy it. The main story has also been refined with the removal of negatively received missions, some of the stuff that players generally didn't like, and the addition of new content and helper features to guide players through the challenging objectives. Now, in my initial look at Spacebourne 2, it was somewhat janky, and that's totally understandable with the game being developed by a single developer. But that said, there was a certain charm to it. Either way, Spacebourne 2 is a very impressive space game. It's still in early access, but is making significant strides over the weeks and over the months that it's been available, so certainly one to keep an eye on. That then brings us to an end of this list of games. Do remember, please do leave your suggestions and recommendations of other space games in the comment sections below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I'd like to thank Factor75 again for sponsoring this video. Please do check out that link in the video description.